Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Steve Free, and for today's video, coming off of the hype last night about the new characters coming, for one, we are excited to see all those new characters, and also the tag mechanic coming in, the tag switching characters of Goku and Vegeta, and just the idea of what that can mean going forward. I'm going to talk a little bit about what I'm thinking and what I'm kind of thinking about for part 2, which is going to happen around the New Year / Christmas area. If you watched this hour-long premiere from Legends Festival, there are a few things that they kind of talk about and kind of hint at that are interesting, and also they also do say things like, oh, this will be available for the duration of Legends Festival, etc., obviously implying that some of these things and perks and stuff like that will be available for like a month and a half, whatever the case is, or 5 weeks, I guess. But anyways, some of the stuff's very long form, basically. And one of the things that kind of came to mind was, for one, when will Super Vegito's Zenkai actually release? And two, Toshi actually says a couple of things in here that could be perceived as the idea or a hint of future Fusion Warrior characters coming out sooner than later. And overall, one thing I'll say is the first part here I feel like was pretty, I don't want to say obvious, but the community kind of had it down pat like a few weeks ago. I remember I dropped my prediction video. One thing I said was, hey, I think movies is getting a buff just because it makes the most sense. And a lot of people were still heavily in the thought that MUI was coming, especially for like this first one. And I had to tell people like, no, it's not happening right now. If it's happening in December / New Year, if it's happening, that is, but not right now. And I said I think movies is getting some stuff. I didn't think they would handle it this way in particular, but movies did wind up getting some stuff. And I said in my pinned comment that I told, because I recorded that video like 5 times, and one thing that got lost in translation, I immediately put in my pinned comment 5 minutes after it came out, was that, hey, Sword of Hope Trunks is also equally likely to come out. That Zamasu Zenkai was a nice precursor to more future-based content, and Trunks was like the last thing from that arc that they hadn't done. The community, long story short, had it down pat, though, a few weeks in advance. So what I'll say is my initial thoughts for just immediately off of the heels of this for next celebration, or the next part of the celebration, which will again happen at the end of the year, is there are a few things in flux. It could be something like UI Goku and Jiren, or a combination of those characters, who knows. Just for example, like right now they're doing DBS Broly paired with Future Saga. It doesn't have to be a direct correlation between two banners. They always, like GT and Fusions, or Super, excuse me, like they do stuff like that all the time. It doesn't have to be direct correlation, so it could be whatever, really. Anyways, it could be something like UI Goku or Jiren. It could be Goku and Frieza, which is an interesting idea because we now have that tag mechanic in the game, and it could be Goku and Frieza as a tag character. Do I know or think they'll drop a second tag a month later? Who knows? But it could be something like that as well. Also, a couple of other interesting Dark Horse candidates would be a Super Gogeta Ultra or something like that from the Fusion Reborn movie specifically. Or, with the introduction of this video, and a couple of other interesting things that happen, like the fact this is DBS Broly based content. The app icon did change to Gogeta Blue, which again, that is part of that too. At some point, that Drip Goku's coming out. So again, we are going to be getting Dragon Ball Super Broly based content. We are also getting a release of Super Vegito's Zenkai, which I'll talk a little bit more about, because this one actually is being handled a little bit differently. And it leads me to think that this may be a few weeks out and not coming out like next week. I think next week, Broly and Chilai, which again, wouldn't you know it, also fits the theme as another Broly movie character. I mean, obviously there's a whole Broly movie banner, so it's not really a huge surprise. But I think they're coming out next, and unless they do 2 at once, and which would be 2 gauntlets at once, by the way, which I don't think they will do, Vegito's Zenkai is probably a few weeks away, unless he's the first one and then they come out a few weeks later. Anyways, long story short, that would bleed into potentially part 2, which I'm thinking as a Dark Horse candidate could be a Gogeta Blue actually finally popping up in his second form. Whether it's an Ultra or not, I don't know, but some of the perks that are happening, like the 3 times pull rate or 3 times Z power, those 2 different things, by the way, they would still be active for whatever banner pops up next. And to give you context, Ultras are coming as a summonable character. They even were saying so like in the last month's video and stuff, that they're coming sooner than later. It's coming soon. It is what it is. Now, if they drop that for the end of the year, that would also mean that, I don't think that would mean they'd have the 3 times pull rate or whatever, I don't know, but they should have the 3 times Z power at minimum. So Ultras could be dropping with crazy, whatever their overall drop rate is. Maybe it's not even 600, just like how Heroes, EXs, and Sparkings have different pulls. Ultras could be something higher than Sparkings. That would actually make sense, and it would fit the theme, by the way. LFs are not a new rarity. They are a subsect in Sparking rarity. So that would actually fit the theme to have Ultras actually drop at a higher number anyway, for the record. Now, if they come out with 3 times drop rate as well, say it's like 1,000, which again wouldn't be unreasonable. Say it jumps to 3,000 for this celebration. That could be crazy. 3,000 is like a 7-star. Like that again, that may sound too nice to you, but that sounds like that's kind of where this is going based on the logic I provided and the fact that the number would go up just because that's how they've done things. And again, LFs are not an example because they are just sparking characters and they drop with a normal sparking drops as well. So this is our actual first real upgrade in rarity. So it just makes sense to me. Now, obviously, the pull rate may be a little lower. I don't know. But that sounds crazy to say. So I'm thinking that the idea of a Ultra Gogeta Blue is heavily on the table. So I've kind of explained my logic and kind of been going at it for a few minutes. What I want to do from here is, and again, there's a few things, like I said, that are on the table. It could be Gogeta. It could be the other Gogeta. It could be a solo LF and Ultra on 2 separate banners, similar to how LF and Vegito Blue was on both banners for the anniversary. Like, it could be something like that, Ultra on both banners. It could be even dual LF. Who knows? Who knows? But let's listen to what they have to say about the Super Vegito announcement. So I want to make sure everyone understands one thing here. This is our first LF character coming out after they changed the way that the Zenkais are handled. Now, I think he will be added to the Space-Time Rush shop like the following week or whatever, like they have been doing for a while with these characters. But he is also dropping with a Gauntlet. That is interesting too. They're going to also have, for the record, a separate event that lets you get his Z-Power, but he is dropping with a Battle Gauntlet as a Legends Limited character. So this is why I'm also saying, like, I had some people asking me if I thought they would do 2 at once. I mean, they could. I just don't think they would, especially because you also have to consider them wanting to maybe pad out the content a little bit to stretch between a month, right? We have a whole month to go. So anyways, this is the first one since, so he is being handled like the other ones, like GT Super Saiyan Vegeta or Zamasu or Janemba. These characters that have come out since they decided to implement the Gauntlet as this tower-based style event where you get these Awakening Z-Powers from. So Super Vegito will be handled in that same fashion, but I don't know what the idea is for him going forward after that. So they say that they actually wanted to drop Super Vegito a long time ago, but they decided to save him for an event. So actually, it's very important we listen to what Toshi has to say, because like I said, there's a few things he say here that kind of give me the idea that fusions could be getting some love. I don't know if it's like a Vegito Blue, because the thing is that like Vegito and Gogeta Blue would both fit the theme. You know the funny thing that I thought about, which is like sounds crazy, but it would be omega hype for a lot of people? Dual Ultras, Gogeta and Vegito Blue popping up on 2 separate Part 2 banners. Can you imagine that? Wow.
Psych! Nope, we're not done yet. We really kept you waiting for this one, but the Legends Limited Super Vegito is also getting a Senkai Awakening, finally.
Amazing.
Yeah, everybody thought we were done.
Definitely,
we're back in the studio, boys.
We were thinking we were done, basically. Yeah, but I mean,
no.
we have so much to talk about. It's crazy.
For so long, but no, there was just this one big last announcement left. We weren't sure about doing a surprise like this during the reveals and stuff, but I'm sure all of you veteran players out there are very happy and will look forward to this new Legends Limited Super Vegito that first came out in the first anniversary of Dragon Ball Legends to make this long time coming Senkai Awakening that will hopefully make the Fusion Warrior tag even more powerful with Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta and all those new characters that will be added as well.
So that's the first one I want to say. Do I think this is a literal hint or I guess a Freudian slip, whatever you want to say, something that he might have gone off script here, I don't know. But the first thing I want to say is I don't want to take it too literally, but I don't want to ignore it either. He says that alongside Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, who obviously got a buff in the form of the unique equip, which is very, very powerful, by the way. It's a very impactful equipment. It makes him a ton better. So alongside that, and Super Vegito's Zenkai as well, and all the characters that are being added, you know, Fusion should be seeing more meta relevance. Does this hint at something? Potentially. Could this also be a drop towards something like using some of these new characters in the leader skill slot, sure. Do I think that part of it is probably a bit of a stretch? Yeah, I think the leader skill implication is probably a bit more of a stretch. But again, he also says that here, but he says something else similar in just a moment.
Oh, you know what? This is just, we'd like to hope everybody is happy with it, and we'd like to think this was a great reveals and stuff too.
I mean, I think everyone was quite surprised, and I definitely hope they kept waiting at the after the ending.
Definitely. This is our first time.
Don't pause the stream, man.
Yeah. But it is amazing. Like, we actually wanted to release these some time ago.
Yeah, right here.
Because it is a big event, so we needed to keep everybody waiting for a little while. But finally it's coming. So when is this coming?
Yep. This is definitely coming in the coming days of the festival.
So he says coming days, but I think that if it was weeks away, he would say coming weeks? Probably, but do I think you can interpret this as him still being, like I said, either next or following a few weeks from now, and Broly and Chilai being next? I think either one is possible. We'll find out what happens next week, though. But he says that here, that he's coming soon.
He was released, as I mentioned earlier, way back during the first anniversary of Dragon Ball Legends, but we'd like everybody to use this guy one more time in the amazing environment that will probably be available during this time of the Dragon Ball Legends Festival, and also the PvP mode that will be available as well.
So another thing he says there is they want people to be using Vegito again in the environment that'll be available for Vegito in Legends, in PvP, things like that. So that's another little hint. And there may be one more, but that one right there also caught my ear just now. That's another little implication that Fusions, the environment around Fusions, will be seeing some sort of updates.
So yeah, this is something that we were really waiting to provide for everybody as well, and we can't think of any other timing than now.
Awesome. And what about people that don't have him yet?
So, for those of you who don't have it, for those of you who are entirely new or have missed out, there will be an event where you can get Legends Limited Super Vegito. You can get his Z power by clearing this event, and that means you'll be able to use those Legends Limited multi-Z power that you can get from all over the place that we have right now in these campaigns and events as well. For those of you who do already have him, obviously, you will be able to get him through that of the Space-Time Rush or missions or campaigns and other.
So he will still be in Space-Time Rush. He just said that there. And missions as well.
Varying acquisition methods. So please look forward to it. Similar to that of the previous Legends Limited Senkai Awakenings, this one will also be in a similar fashion. So it's not going to be you have to spend Chrono Crystals, you have to expend money or anything like that. Just like with the new system implemented from October and beyond, Senkai Awakenings will be free for everybody.
Amazing.
So he says he'll be in Gauntlet and, that's the implication, Gauntlet and USTR, because we're going to talk about the Gauntlet in a second.
Means that players will be able to get a Legends Limited character for free. Wow.
I mean, he's going to be low star, but it's free.
New players as well, or maybe even some of the returning ones. This will be a great event, and I hope everybody looks forward to it.
Yeah, but that's not everything, right? We have more.
No, we're not done yet, even though you thought the video was done. No, there's still a bit more. There is also going to be a battle gauntlet for this Super Vegito, where you will be able to get up to 700 Chrono Crystals and 3,000 Awakening Z Power for Legends Limited Super Vegito.
Amazing.
Wow.
So you get the 3,000 and then the last 4,000 from the missions, by the way.
I really need to. I'm sitting down, but I feel like I need to sit down. Like,
wow.
Yep. So you can simply clear the Awakening Z Power missions, and there'll be another 4,000 of his Awakening Z Power coming your way. So with the mission and the Battle Gauntlet, you'll be able to get the Awakening Z Powers for this Legends Limited Super Vegito. And also, through the event I mentioned earlier, for those of you who don't have that base character at all, well, this is your chance to get him.
Wow, so it means that you can get 7,000 Awakening Z Power for this amazing character from events and missions. So nice. That's a lot.
That is a lot, indeed.
It's everything.
We plan to release these events and the Senkai Awakening itself in December, so it won't be immediately when the
there it is.
begins. You will have to wait a bit longer, but hey, we'd like to think you have a lot of stuff to work through, so...
Well, okay, hold on. So, like, the next update would be, I mean, if we were going to go literally, the next update would be following today, which is the characters coming out. The next update would be the 30th. So maybe they go and say, oh, we're going to drop like a Friday release. And oh, hey, there's my birthday on the 6th. Our Friday release or, you know, a Wednesday release, whatever the case is, if we're being super duper literal. But that would imply that his release would be around the 13th or 14th of the month. because they're bi-weekly. Zenkais are bi-weekly, so that's when that would kind of make more sense. And the interesting thing about that is, if we actually look at it, I hope you can see my calendar, yeah, the 14th. The interesting thing about that is that we start trying to getting really close to that Christmas / New Year time period. We're within like a week and a half of both days and stuff like that, so like that would make more sense to me and with what I'm thinking.
We will be seeing that.
Awesome.
But yeah, finally, we're out of surprises. I'm not going to say you guys anymore. I'm actually pretty much done.
Yeah, that one was it. I remember that, like, there was something in here. It made it, I don't know, I feel like there was one more thing that he kind of like psyched on, and I was like, wait, he almost got me with the don't pause right there. So anyways, yeah, so to summarize here, I do think that something obviously is coming. The main candidates for what that something is would be a tag at Goku and Frieza. That's something that's definitely on the table. I'm not so sure they would drop a tag directly after one, and because they didn't even do that with the assist mechanic, which, can we just call the assist mechanic the beta version, the beta test version of the tag mechanic? Like, it feels like it is. We even have this Broly, which is a Broly card only, but has Paragus popping in like an assist on like a few different things. It's like weird. I don't know where the line is anymore, Toshi. You need to make this clear. No. So yeah, like they didn't do that with the assist mechanic either. They were actually, assist characters are actually very spaced out. There's like, I don't even know if there's 6 of them yet, including the Goku Black and Zamasu. So they're very spaced out. But yeah, so that's what it sounds like. I don't know if they'll do that, but there's characters like UI, Vegito, and Gogeta are both on the table. I don't know if there's too much else there, unless we get like something like an Ultra Zamasu and go Vegito Blue. I don't know if we do that, but we'll see what happens. And also on that same topic, it could be an Ultra, it could be no Ultras, it could be dual Ultras, it could be an LF and Ultra combo, it could be dual LFs, or it could even be one LF spread between 2 banners. This is going to be really interesting to see. I'm excited to see how they break this down. I guess it could also technically be no Ultras or LFs and just Sparkings. But do keep in mind that, again, some of the same perks, like I said, are going to be available, and the events will still be going on. Super Vegito Zenkai could pop up next week, could pop up within a week and a half. It could pop up within a few weeks, which would be a real nice indicator, but we'll see what happens. I think they're going to probably continue with at least one of these threads, though, between what they're going for now. Last little thing on the Broly movie side is that even if Super Vegito's Zenkai pops up a little bit later, whenever they release that Goku, that's another thread to saying, hey, part 2 will still be at least Broly movie themed. And what I would say is, on that topic, Goku and Vegeta are really, really cool, especially, I mean, just as the characters from the movie, but especially because the new mechanic and stuff, but they're not the main headliner for that movie. The characters that are the main headliners are Broly and Gogeta. That's what's marketed, that they're the main headliners of that movie, and specifically Gogeta. So it almost feels like this whole thing is a precursor to another Gogeta, and also circling back to the new app icon. I think that if you ask me what I was most thinking it would be a Gogeta. And before all this popped up, I said that I think a Gogeta would pop up, but I thought it would be Fusion Reborn Gogeta, who I guess is still somewhere in the mix if they wanted to do that. But it sounds like that's very likely. And it could just be, again, something like, I don't know if they do UI, but at some point they got to save something for the goddamn anniversary. I'm just going to say it. This is when they make the most money, sure, but they got to save something for the freaking anniversary. Okay? So, I don't know. Anyways, thank you all for tuning in. Hope you guys enjoy. Hit the thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll see all of you in the next one.